I'm Amber. I'm currently in my last class of my master's, and I'm completing the education program.
Hi, I'm Melanie. I am also in the last semester. I'm taking 2 classes this semester, but this is my last one in the program. I'm in the e-learning program, and I'm a middle school math teacher.
I'm Mandy, and I have one more semester after this for my master's. Is that better at all?
Yeah, a little bit.
It'll be in my master's will be in an emphasis with school library, so education but school library focus.
Okay, so I'll go ahead and start with kind of what I thought about the Do Not Track. I just like the first episode the most, about how like he started with how he kind of started his morning, how he kind of goes through social media and looks at everything. I'm not gonna lie, my morning ritual definitely consists of like my alarm going off 3 or 4 times before I decide to wake up. And then I lay in bed usually and I check my email, go to Twitter and Facebook for a while before I actually finally get out of bed.
Yeah.
You lady, check your social media and all before you get up.
I start my day with Snapchat, and I go through my Snapchat streaks. But actually I get out of bed first, and I do it from out of bed because I know if I stay in bed, I won't get out.
Yeah.
So I get up and I just am standing next to my bed while I answer all my Snapchats.
Mine's the same. So I have the alarm going off, and then I kind of lay there a little bit. And lately, I know if I go to Facebook or something, then I'll stay on there too long. So I've been kind of jumping on. I have the news on my Apple phone, the news app, and I have a bunch of things. So I kind of scroll it and see, what happened this morning and what's getting ready to start the day. And that I can usually pull myself a little bit easier.
Yeah.
But yes.
It's from Maryland, and I was like, "This is creepy. How does he know this?"
Yes, I thought it was fake at first. Then I was like, "Wait, that just said Eagle, Idaho. That's where I live." Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, I was really creeped out, actually.
Yes.
So it actually showed the different areas? I wasn't sure if it was just guessing, because it did show Denver for me too.
Right.
Well, it was interesting because mine was Eagle, Idaho. So I live in the general area of Boise, and normally when something randomly pops up, it's Boise. But it had my specific small little piece of Boise that I live in.
I didn't actually catch it at first. He was like talking.
Yes.
And I saw it out of the corner of my eye, and I was like, and I let it go, and I had to go back and say, "Wait a minute, did that say Pikesville, Maryland?"
Yeah.
I was really blown away, actually.
Yeah, it creeped me out when you did it ask you where you were watching the videos, and I entered home and it was like, now we know where you live. I was like, oh gosh.
The map of my house. I was like, oh yep, that's it.
Yeah.
It may not be as accurate if you're on a desktop versus being on a mobile. And I was like, well, it's still pretty accurate.
Yeah, I was on a desktop and it was definitely exactly where my house was. It was pretty crazy.
Down to my subdivision, nice and close.
Mm-hmm.
It was just, it really got me thinking about how it just requires you to click one button and they know exactly where you are and exactly what you're doing.
Even then, when it goes into the next couple of episodes, there's sorry, my world is yelling at her brother. The next couple episodes started talking even more about all the different things that everything's transmitting, and whether you know it or not, everything is transmitting something, and the geolocations, and then just turning your phone on, everything was tracking you somewhere, and that was crazy.
Right.
Yeah, I didn't realize I knew my phone had the geolocation on it, so I kind of figured, with GPS they would know where I was. But my desktop, I guess I didn't really realize that they were tracking my location based off of my desktop. I'm not very tech savvy, so I was really shocked by a lot of it. It kind of made me nervous about how much information of mine is actually out there. Not just the location, it asked to do you have any nude pictures, because certain programs access your camera, and I'm like, wait, I never even thought about apps accessing all of my pictures. I have over 15,000 pictures on my phone. It's horrible.
Yeah, well, and and at first I was like, nude pictures, that's silly, and then the picture they showed was of a baby, and I was like,
yeah,
I do have streaky pictures of my children when they're running around naked in the house. And that's totally something that somebody could use inappropriately that I wouldn't post or share, but they could take it.
They could take it.
My phone.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, you click on one article, and then all of a sudden your Facebook starts showing you related articles as well. You're like, oh, okay.
Well, and I've done. I've went to go order something. I think it must have been my desktop, and then I went to my phone, which I didn't really feel like they were connected, but obviously they are, because now Facebook was showing me ads.
Yeah.
For things that I just bought on my desktop. I was like,
yeah,
how is it doing that?
Yeah. How do you know what I'm looking at? Yeah, it's definitely crazy.
Yeah.
I also thought it was weird how they definitely talked about how addictive it is and how we don't want to be followed, but it's so hard to say no to Facebook and Gmail and all that social media. Because when I asked would you pay for Facebook and Google, I said yes. I'm not gonna lie. I love Google. I use Google all the time when I was teaching. I mean, for my kids now to look up activities. I don't know how people lived before Google.
Well, I was talking to my principal today at school, and we were talking about how there was no sub for one period, and they quickly had to figure out what they were going to do with these kids. She quickly went to Google. She typed in the title of the course. She printed out an article, and she said, what did they do when I was in high school and there was no sub? How did they find something for us to do? Because she goes, it took me 30 seconds to find an article and print it.
Yeah.
What did they do before Google?
Well, yeah, I'm a new librarian at a brand new Catholic K-8 school, and we're a Google school. And so everything we do is part of Google, all of our classroom, all the tools. We did a big 2-day training, all of the different pieces of Google. And then even from there, there's a podcast I've been listening to in the mornings, Google Tribe, and just all the gazillion things and different ways you can do things. And they've made it so it's so integrated now, especially, teaching. I don't know how I would be able to drop it at this point.
I think it was
a whole lesson plan today because of Google, because I had the chance to Google. Last minute, I was like, oh, this worksheet was boring for the class before. I'm going to go find a new worksheet for them. And I had it.
No, I think even this class, if I didn't have Google for this class, I would definitely fail this class. Oh my gosh.
I would have failed this whole major.
Yeah. The video showing me how to do it.
Did you guys put in your information for the Illumina?
I did.
I did not.
Oh, you didn't?
No.
I decided to, and I felt I don't know, I guess I didn't really like it because of how it judged me. I know that was the purpose of it, but I was kind of offended by some of it. So it said my personality was, what did it say? Organized, responsible, and hardworking, which I could see that. But then when it went to evaluating my financial risk, it judged me based off of my age and being a female. It said I was a mediocre candidate for a loan. It just, I was like, excuse me? said I had risk-taking behavior in my career decisions, potential risk-taking behavior in my financial decisions, and risk-taking behavior in my social decisions.
Yes.
And I felt like a lot of it said was based off of just my age and being a female. I felt like it was just like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It was interesting to see that.
Well, I did it too. And the first part, I was like, oh, that's interesting. That's pretty spot on. The personality wise, I was like, okay, yeah, that's pretty close. But then when it went to the financials, I had huge red flags, and I was not a good candidate for loans. And I think the biggest one, it was because I was an extrovert and I would take risky behaviors.
Yeah.
First of all, you've never met me. I analyze everything that I do before we do it, especially if it has to do with money. And, I'm just like thinking about, if someone was to compare that versus, what our credit score is, would be totally opposite. And like with our past loan histories, those they would not even be close to being a good comparison of what, I would say our actual credit history is versus, what it was. So I thought that was interesting that there's people that actually get loans that way.
I know. I was almost intrigued to like go to that website and just to try it out to see, because I found I've never even heard of them doing like basing a loan off of your social media account. That's just crazy to me.
Well, it makes sense now when you think about it and you talk about, like the millennials and the Gen X and the Gen Z and everything. I mean, that's what their lives are built on, and they're so used to that. But I mean, I wonder, I don't know, I feel like I don't know, maybe just when I do Facebook, it's very simple, and it's really just about seeing families and friends and what their kids are up to that can't be around them. So it would be interesting to see, if I really dug into Facebook and was following things that we're interested in socially, politically, whatever, if that would change the reflection all. And maybe that's something that works better for millennials or people that use it more in detail versus, I know what I use it very surface wise. Maybe that would change it. I don't know.
Yeah, that's true. I know more like businesses are using like your social media to kind of decide if they want to hire you or not. When we were hiring for another third grade teacher for our team, they went through and they, after we interviewed them, they went to their social media, like they searched them on Facebook and tried to find their Twitter accounts and looked at the different aspects of that. So I always try to make sure mine's private. I never post anything except about my kids. Like you said, it's mostly about, I have a lot of family in California and I live in Colorado, so it's just a way to like share pictures with my family and stuff. But I'm in a lot of baby groups too to be able to make friends because I stay at home right now. And but other than that, I mean, I don't think they'd find out much about me except that I'm obsessed with my kids.
Which isn't a terrible thing. So
yeah.
I mean, I use Facebook for pretty much the same reason. I mean, I'm in that millennial age area in the sense that like I don't have children. I literally finished my undergrad and went straight into my graduate. So I do use it in terms of a kid sense, but I don't follow things, and I don't like I follow my people. That's how I keep in touch with my kids, my friends from high school, because I moved out of New York and I'm now in Maryland. I keep in touch with kids I went to college with, and people I worked at camp with who are now in different countries. So it's like more of a in touch socialization than it is like finding out things, I guess. So.
What else? I also found that I don't remember what episode it was, but it talks about how a company actually added into their terms and agreements that they had to give up their firstborn to connect to the internet, and a bunch of people agreed. I thought that was hilarious. I was like, that would be me, because I never read like 1 second of the terms and agreements. I'm like, okay, yep.
Sounds good. Agreed.
Yeah.
There was, it reminded me before this year, I was also staying home with our kids. And so I would watch the Today Show in the mornings, and the Rawson reports. they did a test, and they had a guy, he went to several different coffee shops, and I think it was in New York, and just to see who he could get on their computer. And he built, I mean, within 2 minutes, a fake acceptance page. So he went on to a cafe, he submitted it, and then people went to go click submit, and they timed how long it took them when the thing popped up before they clicked OK, and what, which would give you an idea of how much you read. And then on the little blip, it said, something like, you agree to give us, your next paycheck for 10 years or whatever it may be, something totally ridiculous. But the average time that people clicked on it was under a second.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, no one was reading, which makes sense. I know I've done it before, like click, just hurry, let's just move on.
Right, like let's just install the program, or let's just buy buy it, like it's fine.
Yeah, and well, that was the same thing. I mean, this guy, he was doing that, and there wasn't, some people's computers didn't have protection on it, and maybe mine doesn't either, but they were using a public network, and he was like, yeah, here you go, this person's buying something, and they blacked it out on the screen, but he's like, here's their credit card, here's their accounting information, here's their first, last name, I could take this and go open an account or go get a loan with 2 seconds worth of information.
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's kind of scary, actually.
Yeah.
It is. I have everything like saved on my phone too. All my passwords are saved on my phone, even my credit cards. I'm like, maybe I should take everything off, but I'm horrible at remembering everything. For UC Denver, I've probably changed my password at least 10 or 11 times, and you can't reuse old ones. Oh my gosh. So it drives me insane. I sit there and I'm like, crap, I've used that one. What can I come up with? And then I come up with a new one and I totally forget it. So now everything's just saved for me so I don't forget. I don't know.
Well, I mean, I just switched schools from New York to Maryland, and so I'm still in touch with all my students from my old school who are now in need of college letters of recommendation. So they're emailing me asking if I could write their letter. So I signed on to the online account that you do all of that on now. And I was like, uh-oh. Last time I wrote a letter of recommendation was last September. I don't remember my password.
Yeah.
I was like, I have no idea. I had to reset it. And they were like, nope, that was your password last time. And I was like, oh, now I said, use it.
Well, because of course we all use the same 2 or 3 passwords.
Right.
Yeah, no, I know.
Well, I think overall, I mean, so just on a build piece, that was amazing. And to think about how they could put all those pieces together, and I don't even understand the coding that would have to take place for them to automatically pull up our weather and our location without really, I didn't know I clicked on anything, but clearly I did. But I mean, just that whole piece, and I love the videos. I mean, I would have to say I get more sometimes out of videos, especially first, versus starting with writing than I do, if I'm just having to read a big article. So I liked how that was incorporated. And then there's the comments on the side that you could dig into it further.
Yeah, that was really nice.
Yeah.
So I think that's good. I love all the different pieces. So I am still struggling, I guess, to try to understand really what transmedia is. So would this be considered something that's transmedia, or is it just media that pushes us to go do more investigating, use their blog and find out more details about stuff?
So I'm kind of struggling with it too. I think transmedia would be more it's different types of media they're using.
Okay.
So rather than just that one video, it would have been other resources you could have used as well to kind of learn about it.
Right. I would guess, I think I would say that it is because of the multiple ways they showed.
Yeah, because they did
the comments.
The video, they tracked us, and then we also had to make choices as well. So I guess, it could be considered transmedia.
Yeah. It definitely was storytelling it followed along, and it kept you totally engaged. You were I at first was oh, I'll watch a few of the videos just to get kind of a sense of what I want to do. And then I was okay, no, I'm ready to go to the next one. I want to go to the next one.
And I liked how the people were so different too. They were from all over the world. It wasn't just one guy telling the story the whole time.
Right.
That was really nice. I don't know. I thought it was really relevant to our lives, which is always nice too. My husband even, I started watching it and he started watching it too. He's like, I never knew that.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to lie though, it's probably not going to change
Oh,
too much of how I use everything.
no.
It's already out there. I don't think I can change it now.
I tried to download. I couldn't. I didn't catch. There was. Remember that was. I think it was the third episode. There was the app that she downloaded to see which apps were collecting data or whatever.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I thought it said Clue Full, and I've tried to search it a couple of times in the App Store, and I can't find it. So I'll have to go back and look because I did want to download it. And be like, okay, well, at least make myself feel better.
I think she was in like the UK or something though, so I wonder if they have the same apps as us or not.
Maybe
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know. I just know that it won't change. I mean, it took me long enough to learn how to do all of this technology stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not going to start learning something else.
True. I know.
Really
I
true.
have gone through and maybe I don't understand. Maybe it's just the surface that I've done, but I've gone through and most of my apps, I make them ask me. They can't. I've got it unchecked where they can't
Mhm.
use my location unless I'm using it, or they ask me.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's just a surface thing, and if they're still really doing whatever they want, or if they are actually doing and not tracking me. So
Yeah, I know. I actually found out recently that with Apple or iPhones, if you like double click when you're on your home page, it actually shows the apps, like all the apps that you can scroll through. Like, I don't know if you can, you can't see, but there's like screens that you can see that you can scroll through. And if they're up, they're still actually active. So you have to actually like swipe them off
Right.
to close the apps. And I never knew that. So my battery kept dying. And I was like, why is my battery dying so quick? And my husband was like, well, you have to actually close them. Just because you exit out of it, it's not closed.
Right.
So that was a shocker to me too, because then I'm sitting there and it's still saying it's in use. So it's still getting my location even though I'm not using it.
that's funny. My husband and I had the exact same conversation. He's like, why does my phone keep dying? I'm like, well, let me see your phone. Like, well, you have like 79 apps open on.
All the time.
Yeah.
I have to do it for my father about once a month. Like, all your apps are open.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's like, I thought I closed them. I'm like, no.
Yeah. The 6 my mom used too. I'm like, here, give me your phone. Just
Yeah.
close for you. Good. Well, you guys have anything else?
No, I definitely like this series, and I think it was eye-opening and a little bit scary, but I don't think there's too much that we can do unless they like change things in society.
Yeah.
So other than that,
No, I'm all good too.